Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, Naito is your 2023 G1 champion. AEW continues to build towards Wembley Stadium. Jey Uso says, Deuces, Uces, that, and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast.
I would have came up with Deuces, Uces.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It
ain't gonna last, but it's pretty fucking good.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Mr. No Wrist Control. You know what I mean? And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB? I'm talking about jerking off. Man.
I
just imagine your wrist like doing it of its own accord.
Yeah, like that movie Idle Hands with Seth Green.
That's exactly what I'm thinking, yeah.
Holy
You're like
shit.
Devin Sawa and Idle Hands.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That would be too with like a 19-year-old Jessica Alba, but that's neither here nor there.
What's going on, JCB? I did not expect that to kill you so bad.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
You never know, man.
No,
you never know.
that's why I was like, I don't want to hear it because you get my instant, genuine reaction. All good, man. Just G1 hangover. That's when I'm officially calling it from this point moving forward. After the end of G1, there's usually some sort of low. It's like, okay, what do I do next? Or in my case, like, goddamn, I'm tired. But yes, the G1 hangover is in full effect for the week. And on that lovely note, I will ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 3, 2, 1. Chapter 3, verse 14, and the good smart saying, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. The holy trinity of BFR. It's still Rico Wrestling for me, just looking at it from the perspective of the G1 and how great that was to coming over back to American wrestling and AEW and WWE and kind of looking at it a bit of a side eye, but we'll talk about that as we go along.
View askew, as they might say.
True
and
story.
Out there in Portland, Oregon, we have 3 beers, Zach Ballman. What's going on, Zach?
BFR West is in the house.
Oh man, I'm hurt and I'm old and I'm fucking tired and I podcast with fucking children.
Sorry, boss.
Okay, so a little update. We're coming at you from beautiful St. Charles, Missouri. We got Vice in tow sitting there, so if you hear any jokes off mic and Jason giggling, that's where it's coming from. It's coming from the Giggle Twins.
He's got a mic, man. Shit.
I know. I give him a mic. He doesn't use it. He likes using the jokes off mic, which is fine, however it goes.
I'm funnier there. Hey, same stripper, new titties.
So I had to miss last week's podcast. I was planning on podcasting, and we usually start around 8 p.m. Central Time. I was planning on podcasting the whole time at 7 p.m. I was pulling the burgers off the grill. Long story short, my daughter went down 4 stairs on her bike, hit her head really hard, kind of seized up. It was terrifying. It was one of those things that scares you so bad it makes you wonder why you had kids in the first place. It's like, why? It's like, is this worth it? This is terrible. Had to take her to
Unreal.
Had to take her to Cardinal Glennon. It fucking sucked. She is completely normal now. There are people that reached out via DM. Jason, Zach, Bo all reached out via text separately. We're all good. She's back to 100%. Apparently, that is a normal thing for children. If it happens right after they hit their head, it is not a big deal. If it happens an hour later, that's when it's like, oh shit, this is bad news, because that means that something is going on internally. Long story short, she's fine. It was her birthday today. We had a great day. We went to the aquarium. Another thing that makes you question having kids is I watched so much fucking wrestling last week, and I was coming in hot. I mean, I had hot takes about SummerSlam, hot takes about the G1, hot takes about AEW, just hot as fucking shit. Just fucking molten lava takes, man. And then the kid gets hurt. And then I had to just... And Aaron's like we called 911. The EMTs were here. It was really scary. They were like, listen, she seems okay now, but you guys should still have her monitored. Take her down to Cardinal Glennon. And my wife says, I guess I'll take her. You got the podcast. I was like, do you think I'm going to sit here and do the podcast? Like, no way. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm going to sit here and bitch about, how long Roman Reigns' entrance was while my child is getting a fucking CAT scan. It's like,
well, Aaron thought you had your priorities in mind. But
I know. What was I thinking?
Hey, Zach, you remember the first time you knocked one of your kids out?
Yeah, I mean, they started season, but I didn't stick around to see what was happening an hour later.
You did the podcast.
Listen.
I did go to a concert the day after my son was born.
Listen, what they always say the thing. I'm sure the next time it happens, I'll do the podcast.
You got this right.
It's
right,
just
cool.
This first, for new parent type syndrome type shit. But anyway, Edna May is great. Today's her second birthday. Happy birthday, Edna May Josephine Veggie. But all that being said, let's get to it because I am just a toy that's been wound up and wound up. It's going. So I'm ready to go. Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Unreal.
JCB, kick it off.
And these are one of the days where I'm like, man, I don't have kids. Dodge the bullet on that motherfucker. Sorry, Mike. Last time, you can fast forward starting now. We're going to jump back to...
No, Mike, listen to this one, okay? You might learn something.
He's not going to listen.
I don't know who Mike is.
I was about to say, he ain't going to listen. So let's just go ahead and just jump to the chase. We're going to talk about the G1 Climax 33 semifinals and finals. 2 semifinal matches. We opened up with Will Ospreay versus Naito, and then Evil and Okada was the main event. Coming into this, Will Ospreay obviously was the runner-up in the B block. Naito winning the D block. So they have maneuvered their way to this point where I was thinking to myself, this is probably Naito's last stand. It's coming against Will Ospreay. I have no problem with that. As far as I'm concerned, Will Ospreay is on my short list of Wrestler of the Year. So if Naito loses this match, I'm totally okay with that. It's somebody that I can respect. I damn sure didn't want him to lose to Hikuleo in the quarterfinals. That'd have really pissed me the fuck off. But neither here nor there. Obviously, Naito wins the semifinal match in an instant classic. If you happen to stay awake like I did to watch it live, that bad boy was a barn burner from start to finish. Stardust Press needs to just come out of Naito's playbook at this point. I love it. It's the reverse Phoenix Splash, which I have a fondness for, obviously, but you can't keep doing that and expect me to root you on because now you're pissing me off, but neither here nor there. Naito wins semifinal number 1. Semifinal number 2, obviously, the big story coming into this was one Evil, who had defeated Sonata in the quarterfinals. So he basically had a title match in his pocket facing the final boss in Kazuchika Okada. This was not nearly as good as the match beforehand, but I will give Okada credit. Well, I shouldn't even say that. I'll give Evil credit. They didn't have him pull out nearly as much fuckery as he did in the match before versus Shingo, which damn near had me pulling my scalp off my skin, but neither here nor there. Once again, Okada defeats
How would
Evil.
you get like a grip on it?
Oh, no, trust me, I can grip that motherfucker. It's just going to really hurt if I just grip it.
Loose
It's
enough that you can just grab the skin.
There's enough. It's just, actually pulling it off is going to be the trick portion of the program. Okada versus Naito.
That's what Shane Battier was trying to do, right? That's a basketball joke, Zach.
I was going to say,
Look up Shane Battier's head.
Go Google Shane Battier.
Battier. Look up Shane Battier's head.
You're welcome. Finalist sets, Naito versus Okada. I'll let you guys talk about the semifinal before we talk about the final.
What you think about it, Zach?
I'm just Googling his head.
He looks like Thanos.
It looks like it looks like he has no skull. It's just brain under there.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. echoing Jason's sentiments. If you don't think Will Ospreay is Wrestler of the Year, maybe like Wrestler of a Lifetime, like, or this match pretty much just got rid of all of my doubts because not to get ahead of ourselves, but found out, you know, it's going to be Jericho versus Ospreay at Wembley, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh, that's not what I want. So I got to think of like 10 guys more, and then I watched him have this awesome match with Naito, and then the last couple minutes of the match are just basically him giving himself 3 Destinos because he had concussed Naito with a kick to the head, and like Naito he had no idea where he was, and he's just completely out of it. You can just hear him. He's like, "Come on, bro, we've got 2 minutes. We gotta wrap this up. We gotta go home, bro." And he's just picking him up and doing all the spots himself, just carrying. And I mean, I don't know if you would notice him like falling down, but if you weren't like a total smart like us, if you would actually notice like he was injured, and then Ospreay's literally like lifting him up and twisting him so that he can do the Destino to himself, and then he does 2 Destinos to himself, and he still kicks out to lift himself up for a 3rd Destino. Oh man, this is like a masterclass in, I don't know, like danger, but it was awesome.
Yeah, about that match, I really didn't. I'll be honest. I was like, man, Ospreay is calling this match really loud. Like I heard him yell Destino, and then I found out later that Naito had actually been concussed, and I haven't gone back and watched it. I was a big fan of this match anyway, and when I found out later that Ospreay was basically doing it all himself, it was like, oh shit, that was pretty impressive. Very fun match. Despite it was compelling for, I mean, I want to go back and watch it because it's compelling for that reason. Outside of your regular kayfabe wrestling enjoyment, but I was surprised at the outcome. I thought that Ospreay was going to win. Apparently, not a whole lot of people on the internet did. They thought that Naito was going to win this. I guess I'm just a mark for Ospreay. It was a fun match. In terms of the evil,
this also was do or die for me because both you guys had Ospreay and I had Naito. I'm like, well, this is it. This is where it all comes to a head. So,
what do you think about Evil versus Okada?
It was fine. I almost tune out Evil matches. It was nice to see Okada do those big high drop kicks one after the other to all the dudes who were trying to interfere. But yeah, I can't lie and say that I hyperanalyzed this match or watched it very closely. I was like enthralled with Ospreay versus Naito. I mean, they've had G1 finals before that are just phenomenal. They're just great together. And they're both phenomenal wrestlers. I just can't with evil shit. So
I thought the Evil Okada was pretty good, actually. I enjoyed it despite the fuckery. You know, if you come in expecting the fuckery, it's kind of, okay, well, how well are they going to do this? I thought that they did it really well. You know, putting Evil in there, a lot of this G1, talking on a macro level, was about the young guys. A lot, at least from our perspective, what we were interested in were the 3 Musketeers, Yota Tsuji, Shota Umino, and Ren Narita. Also, Kaito Kiyomiya, Gabriel Kidd. You know, we'll talk about him in a little bit when I ask for your guys' overall thoughts on the G1 now that it's over. But having Evil, you know, the Final 4 were kind of chalky, you know, which is fine. This, you know, Chris Samsa, the real Chris Samsa, the guy who does all the New Japan stats on Twitter, I saw a tweet of his that said this G1 was not about 2023. This G1 was about 2026. And I thought that was an interesting take that, hey, it's okay. So they're introducing us to the new crop of guys that are going to eventually take over at least 3 of the 4 guys that we saw in this Final 4. Maybe not Okada. He's still pretty young relatively. But anyway, I thought that Evil being in the Final 4 certainly served its purpose because I was watching it. I thought that there was no way that Evil was going to win, but I was watching it thinking, are they really going to fucking do some shit like this? Because Evil versus Sonata at the Tokyo Dome, I wouldn't put it past them. So, all that being said, I enjoyed this match.
Better than I
Be the
anticipated.
dome of torture.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's right.
Nah, the only reason I would say that wouldn't think that Evil would have beat Okada is that he beat Sonata already going towards this match. So basically he had bird in hand.
Yep.
And obviously coming up to this point, Okada has been just on a roll. The only loss is to Will Ospreay, which is, nothing to complain about, cry over spilled milk about. So in this scenario, it just felt like once Naito won, I was like, okay, now the final is set. At least in my head.
When's the last time that Okada's had 3 losses in basically a month and a half? I mean, he lost to Bryan, he lost to Ospreay, and then he lost to Naito in the finals.
That was the build. Thank you for the segue. That was the build for Chris Charlton leading into the final, where basically Naito was coming in to win his 3rd overall. This was the 6th anniversary to the day of him winning his 2nd in the same venue, Ryogoku Sumo Hall. So it just felt like, I hate to use the word destino, but it felt like it was meant to be in that scenario. And on the other side, you have obviously Okada trying to make history with 3 straight wins, then that would tie him with Masahiro Chono with 5 overall. So history on both sides of the fence to be had. Chris Charlton, God bless that man. He had me wide awake by the time those 2 guys were coming out. I was definitely on the struggle bus watching this one live as well, but I knew me well enough to know that I couldn't go to sleep in good conscience and not wonder what was going to happen, what is happening. So I set it up and I watched it, and once again, totally worth the wait. Another instant classic between these 2 guys. Not nearly as physical as the Ospreay Naito match, and the commentary made good notes of that. Just on a personal Mark level, I really wasn't even rooting for Naito over Will Ospreay until Will Ospreay spat on him. And at that point, the Mark in me came out, and I was like, okay, fuck this shit. You need to win this match. This match, the Okada match, it was just like, if he can not get hit by the Rainmaker, we're okay. And that was, every time you saw the Rainmaker coming, Naito ducked. I was like, okay, still in the match. So for me, this was the up and down roller coaster ride. Obviously, the up part being Naito defeating Okada to win the G1 in a little over, I believe it was 28 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I did not expect it, and I know I'm going to take shit for it, but I will take shit for it. As far as if you stop and think about it, there was no reason to think that Naito was going to win the G1 really coming into it. Zach called it. I'll give you credit for that. But for me personally, he had no momentum coming in. Looking at it in the final match, even though it sounded real good, Okada had beaten him in the last 2 matches. They had faced off against each other, both for the title. I remember sitting here and complaining about the fact that Naito was getting fed to Okada, and that never made sense to me either. So as far as I was concerned, there was really no way that Naito was going to get back to this point and winning it all. But I have no problem eating a big spoonful of shit and gobbling it up. Naito wins the G1, and I was dead ass wrong. There you go.
Zach, what do you think about this match?
Yeah, it was worthy of a G1 final, and having 2 guys like that in a G1 final, like, you just go in like knowing that you're going to see a great match. And man, those guys just, I don't know the time. I didn't look and see like how long. It's one of those where I'm just like into it and I don't even notice like how long it is, but you can kind of, you get the rhythms in and you start like feeling like, all right, man, like they're getting close to like going home. And I feel like they wrestled for like 7 more minutes after that. And I was just like on the edge of my seat. Very good G1 final. Probably not the best like in the last 5 years, but they've all been great. But I'm not saying it's the worst either. It's just that we've had some pretty exceptional ones. Last year, obviously, being a huge bummer with Kota Ibushi. That was just last year, right?
No,
it's
2 years
Oh,
ago.
2 years ago. Okay, yeah, he's been gone from it. So 2 years ago. Anyway, but yeah, absolutely great match. Like, this is why you watch. All right, I mean, for me, this is why I watch New Japan. These guys have history. They each have a journey. You know, you don't really need promos to even though they exist, you don't really need them, especially with such a fantastic commentary team laying out the stories and the stats and everything for you. But yeah, just excellent pro wrestling. This is stuff that I want people to like walk in and see me watching and be like, oh, what's this? Oh, this is awesome. These guys are beating the shit out of each other. Holy shit. Everybody's so excited. For me, this is like, I mean, pure pro wrestling.
Yeah, let's make a little mental note right there about what you want people to watch, what you want people to walk in on and watch you seeing when you say you're watching pro wrestling, because there's something else coming on. There's something coming later on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, we gonna be fighting on who's gonna take a shit on this motherfucker first. I promise you that.
But Zach is completely right. This is completely worthy of a G1 file. You know, not the work radius of types of matches that Okada and Naito have had. They've certainly gone at each other many, many times. But in terms of storytelling and callbacks to other matches, things of that nature, this was exactly what you want, man. I didn't know who was going to win. I could see him going either way. I was pleasantly surprised that Naito went over. Like I just said, you know, when's the last time that Okada lost 3 times in this short amount of time? It does seem like hopefully they're trying to tell a story here with Okada. I think that Naito, well, let me ask you this. Jason, I'll go to you first. Does Naito go on to Tokyo Dome? Does he keep the title shot? Because they usually do wrestle for, you know, Okada last year famously said, I'm not putting this up on the way to Wrestle Kingdom at all. I'm keeping this until Wrestle Kingdom. So we have 4 months until Wrestle Kingdom, basically. Does Naito keep it? Does Naito face Sanada? And does Naito win at Wrestle Kingdom?
Post-match, Naito's backstage and talking to the press. Jeff Cobb comes up and basically interrupts him. So that was my first question in my head, was thinking about myself, what's going to happen next? Jeff Cobb answers my question fairly quickly. So my guess is we're going back to the way it used to be. The G1 winner is going to have at least a match, if not 2. I would be very surprised if we did not see Shane Haste and Naito for that same G1 rights berth, simple for the fact that Shane Haste beat Naito. So if Jeff Cobb is going to get that same claim, Shane Haste should get that same claim too. I would expect Naito to win both of those matches. From there, does he meet Sanada? My guess is yes. Either way, it's LIJ ties. We've already done Naito Evil. Sanada, I think if he's going to drop the title, at least deserves to go to Wrestle Kingdom, go to the Tokyo Dome, and drop at that point. I wouldn't be surprised to see Evil beat Sanada, especially with the injury to Sanada's left arm, bicep, whatever the case may be. So that's something to kind of, circle and look forward to. But if I had to take a guess, my guess is it's going to be Sanada and Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. They haven't wrestled a singles match since Sanada beat Naito in the New Japan Cup. You know how New Japan tells stories. It's usually circular. That's just my guess.
Zach. Yeah, I feel pretty much exactly the same. If Naito didn't win, I was actually thinking that if he didn't go all the way, that it would likely be that like Sanada wouldn't carry to Wrestle Kingdom. But since Naito won, I think Sanada's taking it to Wrestle Kingdom. I don't know. It depends on how things go after that. I do think Naito wins at Wrestle Kingdom. I think the Sanada experiment, he's a very solid wrestler. I like the new group. I like the Just 5 Guys. I like his work now probably better than ever, but he's not the hottest guy in the company, and you want your champ to be the hottest guy in the company.
Yeah, and I think that Naito, his best days are probably behind him, and I think he's got one more ride at the top, and I think that he takes it on January 4th, and that he has a good lengthy run with it, and
just like Tanahashi took from Kenny a few years ago. It's kind of the same thing. It was like his last hurrah.
Yeah. So, like I said, Naito is your 2023 G1 winner. Big picture thoughts on the G1. Who surprised you the most? Who disappointed you the most? Who had the best tournament? Any way you want to go with it, Zach?
I'd say some surprise and almost a disappointment. I think I talked a little bit about this. Was Rin Narita. He didn't really stand out nearly as much as some of the other young lions, especially guys that I did not young lions, but this new generation, especially guys that I hadn't even really thought, and just kind of like, why are they even in there? When I think about people like Gaijin that I want in, but like Gabriel Kidd stood out, and I was like, holy shit, like he was somebody that I was just not expecting to make. He carved out his niche, right? He carved out a difference and made his matches unique and brought a lot of interesting kind of dynamic to the blocks, and laid into the storytelling that you're going to have brutal matches. I think we all talked about too, like Mikey Nichols. This kind of came out of nowhere, and like was having some really solid matches, pretty brutal stuff, along with Alex Coughlin. But yeah, guys were. I was just like, why are they in there? And then they earned it, and they really kind of showed the world what they can do, and it's exciting because a lot of them are pretty young. Some people do got to go though. Tangaloa, sorry, bud. But it's time for him to Stevie Ray his way on out of here. And,
I'm so glad that Zach. I did listen to the podcast last week. And I'm so glad that Zach brought up Tangaloa's horrible worked punches and Okada basically insulting our intelligence by selling him the way that he did. That was I'm glad that you brought that up, because I had a whole thing planned for that. So you had my back. I appreciate it. Zach, I'll ask you the same questions. Any way that you want to go with it, and then Zach kind of had a pretty good idea of that. I want somebody that you don't think should be back besides Tangaloa. But you can answer. You can go any way you want to.
Biggest disappointment is still Great-O-Khan. I don't care how anybody wants to slice or dice it. If Naito just wins this year's G1, part of Naito's journey is losing to Great-O-Khan. I believe it was 3 years ago now that Great-O-Khan came in, and
that's starting to look like Fandango Jericho.
Damn. Woo. Whoa. Okay. Damn. I didn't even think of it that way. But yeah, we could throw that out there. Somebody that I don't want to come back at this point right now. It feels like Kenta is that person that I can do without. Chase Owens always seems like that person that people want to throw out there, but I think Chase Owens serves a purpose where he makes the young talent look better. There's no reason that Kenta should be there. He doesn't serve any purpose to me. It's hit or miss with his performances. If it's somebody that he doesn't respect, it feels like he plays down to the competition, versus if it's somebody that, it feels like he does respect. He rises to the occasion. The fuckery aside, I think Kenta's the first person for me that has to go. And like I said, the biggest disappointment is still Great-O-Khan.
I'll disagree with you about Chase Owens. I don't think that he makes anybody look good, and I think that he only wrestles his own kind of matches, and his own kind of matches are like Yano matches without the comedy. It's like he throws on a pile driver at the end, and that's basically all the work he does. He doesn't really sell. He doesn't really do anything exciting. He's not a very dynamic character.
Damn, you sound like you talking about Kenta to me.
Well, Kenta,
Chase Owens match is like watching a very tired like hotel clerk who's worked like an 8-hour shift trying to wrestle a bag of milk into that like automatic milk dispensing machine.
Say, man, fuck this shit.
Chase Owens, see you later. There's no reason to have him in there. You know, Jason, there's something that you didn't mention. And I like that you gave him credit where credit was due last week when I wasn't here to defend his honor. My man Toriano. Did you mention Yano?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he was trying to like commit homicide in the middle of a wrestling ring. So yeah, you know those things kind of stand out.
All of a sudden he was New Jack.
I'm like, what the fuck? This nigga got scissors. What the fuck's wrong with him?
He got pissed off.
Yeah, okay, and that's what I ask. Every now and then, you know, remind me that, you know, you could just snap at the drop of a dime. That's all I ask from Yano. He's still all day, every day is fuck Yano, but, you know, neither here nor there.
Gabe Kidd, you know, if you asked me, I bet they watched Gabe Kidd this tournament and they were like, we could probably make him head of Bullet Club sometime in the future. We might be able to have him take it away from Finley. You might be able to tell a story like that.
Dude. I was about to say, Finley just got the fucking man. Let him run with it for a little bit.
I'm saying that Gabe Kidd is a character.
Yes.
And would be a fun leader of Bullet Club, like just a little fucking bulldog who's super pissed off.
Should they be fighting all the goddamn time? Are you kidding me?
But, I mean, I thought that David Finley was a little disappointing to me. And I'll just say his name. He wasn't the most disappointing, but he's somebody that we haven't mentioned very much in our analysis of the G1. I expected a lot of him in terms of work rate, and it was just okay. I thought he had a better tournament last year when he had that killer match with Ospreay, and really, we're kind of burying the lead here. Will Ospreay was the performer of the tournament. Everybody that he fought had their best match against Will Ospreay. I guess,
yeah.
But Ospreay was incredible, and then you throw in the shoot heroics of the semifinal match with Naito, where he basically took over the match, called the match with a guy who was basically out on his feet, and still managed to get, 4.5-star match. When Will Ospreay was the performer of the tournament, and I'm not sure it's close. And maybe it's just because you expect it, but man, every single match that guy fought was must-see, including against the people that you don't really care about. I thought his match against Tai Chi at the very beginning where he lost was fucking great. You remember how good that was on night? I think that was night one. That was fucking awesome.
I was just like, what the fuck? Wait a minute. All right, it's G1 season. You know, motherfuckers are going to, lose when you don't expect them to lose. I can't disagree with that too much. ELP, I thought he and ELP had obviously a really good match.
Yes, very fun. Very good match.
Him and David Finley, I thought, in the quarterfinals, had a really good match. From that point on, he had a run of matches that has just been incredible to sit back and watch. So in that scenario, I can't too much disagree with that. Guys that, kind of stand out besides Will Ospreay, obviously. Eddie Kingston, they deserve some love.
Yep, had a good tournament.
I still say all of the Three Musketeers, even Renneria, even though he might be underneath the radar.
We came through the pandemic. NJPW is back, and it's exciting now. Very fun.
Very high upside. Hickalay, who came off the side of the milk carton, so that's, at least somebody else on the upswing. Tamatonga, I thought was very underrated, but it still has good matches. So I mean,
Ishii was fucking great again. If this is really his last one, that's a shame.
It better not be. Shit, Tanahashi coming back, Ishii coming back.
I mean, because Ishii's like Mark Henry right now. He's got plenty left in the tank. I'd love to see Ishii wear a pink suit like Henry did that night.
Oh, if you see that, that's going to be my mark out moment of the year.
All right, so I don't have the prediction book in front of me. I know that Zach predicted Naito. We're going to have to figure out how many points we're giving that shit because, Jason, you were right. You did very well at SummerSlam. I was listening to it. I know that you said that last week. But like I said, the book's inside. I just don't feel like going to get it. Without heading the G1 into it, I think Zach and I are tied at 36, and I think Jason jumped out to a 4-point lead. All I had to do was talk shit 1 week about how I was in first. And I've completely shit the bed since. Jason has shot right past me.
No,
That's what I get.
That's just being consistent. Like
So,
I said, it's a sprint or it's a marathon. It's not a
final
sprint.
thoughts, G1 2023. I know people have been down on it, saying it wasn't a great G1. I say that in wrestling, just like anything else, people try to sometimes downplay shit to make it seem like they know more than everybody else. Fuck you guys. This G1 was great.
Yeah, people saying this G1 is not good is like them saying like those idiots saying like Margot Robbie's not hot enough to play Barbie.
Yeah,
That's
those
like
people
the
saying
dumbest
she's
shit.
mid or whatever. Yeah, that's the thing.
Like an idiot.
Whoa, hang on a second. Hang on.
I know that's the thing.
Hang on. I gotta cut you off for 30 seconds. She's not hot enough. That's the thing. She doesn't look like Barbie. She's not hot enough to play Barbie.
I think it's like this meme that started with like some incel guys and like it turned into like a right wing thing. I don't know. It was just kind of weird.
That's the dumbest fucking shit I ever heard in my life. I mean, she legit looks like Barbie, number one. And number two, she's pretty fucking hot.
I don't think that we have to legislate how hot Margot Robbie is here during our G1 analysis. Obviously, yeah, she's very hot. They call me Mr. No Wrist Control. Trust me, I thought about this before. All right, let's get to that.
I will say, though,
Yeah.
one of the reasons probably is, like, objectively, before the pandemic, those, like, couple of years, we had the best G1s in history. And, of course, after pandemic and just in general, whenever you lose some of that talent, and like some of them are not quite in their prime anymore, and you're just going to have different, and also the shift in the blocks and everything, it's just going to be different. But there was a couple of years there when we first started the podcast, and there was 2 blocks of 10, and holy shit, between those matches and those finals, we can go back and watch them anytime we want to.
Yep.
And the fact that we don't is just a product of there being so much wrestling. But I think that's probably one reason. People comparing it to, like, just very recently, it was the best it's ever been.
Right. Yes. 2018 New Japan was as good as wrestling's basically ever been. I mean, in terms of in-ring product. So that's going to do it for our 2023 G1 coverage. Come back next year for our 2024 G1 coverage. Let's get to that 2 count.
Naito's going back to back, baby.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
2 count. We can just talk for an hour about CM Punk's dark promo that he
Holy
did
shit.
after. No, I'm just joking.
I forgot about that, though. I really forgot about that. There's so much fucking wrestling.
There's a lot of shit going on right now.
Yeah, it's just him trying to, keep this thing going because he's the only dude that ever talks about it. So at one point, you just got to be like, I don't know,
all right,
move on.
So how much do we how much do we buy this, though? I know that I always say let's not talk about he who should not be named, but it's like, sometimes it is fun to talk about. So they say that he and the Young Bucks have an agreement. Maybe it might be legal, it might not, where they aren't supposed to talk about each other on television. But apparently that doesn't extend to Hangman Page.
Clearly.
So that's why Punk went in on. Do you actually think that was a shoot?
A part of me does. I just don't think that they get. Punk doesn't. What Punk's like me in this scenario. If I don't like you, I don't like you, and I don't hold. I don't hide that shit very well.
You know what they say about you? You're a cult of personality.
Shit. Doesn't say don't. I like the song. Don't lump me in with Punk. I'm sorry. I think there's something to this, and I always have. It's something about Punk that just likes to needle, and I think that's just more of him just, needling Hangman Page for whatever reason he decides that he wants to do it. That's Michael Jordan is famous for, like inventing shit in his head to keep him motivated. The Last Dance documentary, Carmelo won the MVP, and I took that shit personally. Something to that effect. Same thing here. To me, all this is just Punk taking a shot on someone that he knows A, he can, and B, probably is not going to take a shot back at him. I don't know if this is legally binding or not, and honestly, I don't care. To me, this is just Punk being Punk. And I said it when he came back. Sooner or later, he's going to do some shit or say some shit that's going to get him into some hot water. And slowly but surely, that's starting to happen. I'm just waiting patiently for someone besides Ryan Nemeth to step up to the plate and just call him out for being the soft little hush puppy that he is.
Oh yeah, he's just such a petty bitch. Like, he just can't let it go. I just think it's so funny, and it's fine to talk about, especially this week. There isn't build to Wembley, but like a lot of the shows, we'll talk about Dynamite, but like a lot of Collision was just squash matches, so there's not a whole lot to kind of go over. But I don't know, and we're never going to know about like the legal aspects of it or the ins and outs, because like nobody's talking, right? But do I believe that CM Punk is petty enough to make sure that people don't enter the building where he's essentially like a big part of the show? Like, absolutely. And do I think that he's petty enough to, shoot in a promo, in like a non-kayfabe promo after the fact? Absolutely.
I'll tell you what.
And also at the same time, I do think it is potentially him trying to make something happen where, he can just generate drama and controversy, get people talking about him, and then maybe working into a program with him and Paige, because that is money.
Yeah.
Paige is like the only guy that hasn't said anything about anything this entire time. And he kind of came out looking the best out of anybody, except maybe Kenny Omega for the whole dog saving thing. But.
True. Little guy
Going shoot during a promo is CM Punk. Not letting people in the building at Collision because you're a big deal, that's CM Corporate. Fuck him. He's a bitch. That's a bitch move, dude. You ain't CM Punk. That is a bitch move. What a fucking bitch. God damn. Fucking bitch.
That's good stuff.
Damn.
Come find me, Phil.
Oh, he's back.
All right. That's all we got to talk about Punk, unless you guys want to say anything else.
Nah, I was going to say, we're going to talk about his punk ass here in a little bit.
Yeah, but we did get a very confusing kind of segment. Ricky Starks comes out wearing like a designer life preserver, and they said
hey man, don't be talking about my boy like that. Hold on, you ain't gonna be talking about my boy like that, man. That nigga look good.
Marty McFly looking motherfucker.
He did. He's like, I'm walking here. Anyway, they do the thing in the ring with Tony Schiavone, and apparently he's been suspended from wrestling for 30 days, but there's a loophole where he got a manager's license, so he's still on the show.
How the hell does that happen? Come
I'm
on.
into this.
That
That's old school.
Oh my god,
That's
who
old
the hell
school.
gave his ass a manager's license? You
No,
idiot.
I like that.
No, it's in kayfabe style. I assume that this is going to be a way to have him tag along with somebody for the next 30 days. Now, who that person is,
Well, there's an opportunity to do some storytelling.
Yeah, which is fine. I think Ricky.
It also
No, go ahead.
also makes it so he won't be on wrestling on either of the pay-per-view shows, which means like it keeps the Punk feud going, but it keeps him off of like a bigger, like Punk's gonna have bigger matches on those pay-per-views, so it's kind of convenient.
He can still come out and do his little pose like he's Michael Jackson at Six Flags or
That's
some
right.
shit.
God damn it.
That's pretty funny. He should manage the weird, creepy old Six Flags guy.
The guy with all the keys.
Yeah.
I would say no. Hell no.
You remember when Junior Soprano has dementia and he sees the guy from Six Flags on the commercial and he goes, "Why am I on TV?" That's so fucking funny, dude. That's so fucking funny.
Acclaimed squash match, and the only reason I bring it up is because they're pretty much pretending like Billy Gunn is dead. I mean, like Anthony Bowens was crying on television last week, saying "Scissor me, Daddy," in tears, real tears. And now they just carry out his boots and they talk about his spirit being with him. Kind of funny.
I mean, it really does throw it into relief how ridiculous "Scissor me, Daddy" is when he like says it like earnestly, like while he's all emotional.
Right.
Yeah.
It really underscores how silly pro wrestling is.
Oh my God. I mean, he's like
Scissor me,
boo,
Daddy.
and I'm just like, no, that's probably not the time to be talking about Scissor Me Daddy. I'm just saying.
Scissor me, Daddy.
All right, so Joe had a squash match again, and then he basically just killed a dude and said, you know, "I'm the king of television, CM Punk, where's my answer?" And he says,
shit.
"I'm going to get one from you." So that plays into later in the show. And then we had Christian Cage and Luchasaurus coming down, and I mean, just classic Christian Cage stuff. But Arn and Brock come out, and that's Brock Anderson, not Lesnar. Don't get you excited. It's pretty much the opposite of Brock Lesnar.
Wow.
Brock Anderson. The only similarity is that they're two white guys who wrestle professionally. But yeah, so he just murders him, and I don't even know why this happened. Really, I guess just to wrap up put a bow on the Arn and Christian thing.
Yeah, it really didn't make any sense while it was happening. Even to say it's putting a bow on the Arn and Christian thing is
that's giving it a little too much credit.
It really is. It really is.
They rolled Brock out there to get that ass handed to him. That's it. Nothing more. You thought about it more about it than I did, even though commentary did make mention of it. When I saw Brock come out, I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Christian Cage is doing work though. He is doing work.
Oh yeah.
He fucking rules.
No argument here. In a time where I'm not excited about a lot of things in AEW, Christian Cage is a high water mark.
He's going to be able to do this forever. He's going to be able to just be a heel fucking asshole manager forever, and he can probably still wrestle some
every
down
now
the line,
and then.
you know?
Yeah, every now and then, if you needed to break him out of the break in case of emergency, you can get Christian Cage out into a match. But yeah, you can slowly but surely see him kind of going over into what I would assume the next stage of his wrestling career and being, the next great manager.
I would love to see him do some heel commentary too. I bet he'd be fucking great at it, man.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say he's got a lot of talent.
So Hobbs comes out, got a pretty nice little promo. Hobbs, new promo guy, but he calls out Miro. And man, just thinking about this match sounds pretty awesome. I don't know if they've wrestled before or not. Maybe, like, did they wrestle for like the TNT title or anything? I don't remember who that all happened.
I don't really remember Miro's first run very much. It was so stunted. There was a lot of Kip Sabian shit. It's like I didn't really get it.
I want to say they did not wrestle.
And Hobbs is also vastly improved, like physically and just as a performer. So
yeah, he's gotten a lot more confident. He's gotten a lot more confident.
Totally. He calls him out. The QT TV guys come and try to beat him up, but
Camarado.
Yeah, and Miro, deals with them, but he ends up getting a spine buster from Hobbs, lays him out, and lays the Book of Hobbs on him. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, that's a pretty fun reason to watch Collision. More of that, please. That sounds good. And then just very long main event. It's like very obvious they're like, we're going to put CM Punk in a very long main event match every week. That's like the pretty much, for most weeks for Collision. And yeah, House of Black defeated CMFTR. It was a good television main event. It seemed like it just went a little long, but I think the fun thing that happened in here was whenever people got in the ring with CM Punk, like Malachi Black, especially, fans were very much into it, and people want to see like that singles match happen, and that seems pretty fun to me.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising how hot the crowd was for Malachi Black and CM Punk to be in the ring together.
Buddy Murphy.
Yeah,
Buddy Matthews. I'm sorry,
but I think that Malachi
Ian
Black.
Riccaboni did the same thing.
Yep, Malachi Black, CM Punk could be a fun program.
Totally.
It would be different for sure.
Kind of as far as like the story here, Joe, made good on his promise, and he choked out Punk, and it was kind of crazy because it happened right during the finish. Jim Ross also in commentary for this thing, should have mentioned, but fun TV main event and furthered some storyline, and House of Black continues to dominate that trios division. So that was Collision.
What you think about the main event, Jason?
It was a long main event. I was a little surprised that they
fucking long, man.
I
watched Roman Reigns' entire entrance.
Nigga, you ain't shit. God damn.
The whole thing. Damn.
I watched Naito get undressed after he got into the ring, and Roman Reigns' entrance. It was just a long match. I mean, I like watching those dudes wrestle.
I watched half of season 2 of The Wire.
That's good old Wire.
Like Naito, he must have to. His prostitution rates must be much higher because he's got to pay for so much extra time just to get those pants off.
I watch it on my iPad, and I'm hitting the 10-second thing, like from the moment he starts taking off his clothes. Because he comes in there fully dressed, for those that don't watch it. He comes in there fully dressed and gets out of his suit while everybody just stands around and watches him. And it takes and I hit the 10-second thing. I was like, God damn, what the fuck? I just kept hitting it. It took him like 2.5 minutes. It took him forever.
Snap.
Right. He takes out his cufflinks, though.
Oh, yeah, he's taking his sweet-ass time, dog. I'm like, shit, perfect. 2 minutes, I got to go to the bathroom. I can do this. I can do that.
He empties his pockets.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
Like, checks his breast pocket.
Right, just, do I have my phone on me?
All right. The card's still in here.
I like Joe's interference. Joe's the one guy that can do that where I'm like, yeah, that tracks. He's... I don't mind him coming in and choking out CM Punk at the end.
Yeah, right. Joe, but that's kind of the way what Three Beers said. That's why I like how this match ended ultimately, because I was thinking, well, somebody's going to have to, take the pin. The titles are on the line. There's just you can't do a count out. You could. You guys say it all the time. You could do what you want to, but I don't think that's the way that they wanted to do it here. At least TK wanted to do it here. Joe gave him a chance for Punk to come out and accept, and he didn't. So now you pay the price. It's classic Joe. It at least makes me more excited about a match with a title that feels like it has absolutely to do with nothing, but probably the week after it has everything to do with everything. But we'll see what that happens here in a little bit. The match was just long. That's all. It was good. It was just long.
Yeah. What about Dynamite, Zach?
All right, so Dynamite was super fucking weird. This was one of those things where, like, I'm totally sober, and I'm like, am I? But I was.
Whoa. Hang on. Stop tape. You watch this shit sober?
I'm trying to be more sober. It's related to the story that I have to tell you guys. About this weekend, but I'm trying to be more
all right. We need to get this podcast over with quick.
So so we opened with a hot little match here, Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta. Something about Orange Cassidy has the international title and I think Yuta's lunch money. So that was the build. but they wrestled pretty good, and they had like a kind of an interesting beginning where they were like, we're just gonna like throw blows, like they wrestled like an Ishii match at the beginning, but they ended up doing more of their kind of typical stuff as this thing got going. I think my favorite part was after Blackpool Combat Club comes out and Orange Cassidy like sets up for the Orange Punch, but he does a paradigm shift instead. But he does end up getting a cradle and pinning Wheeler Yuta. And this is the first of many times that people are attacked after a match or a segment. And you wouldn't notice it normally because this is what Blackpool Combat Club does. But it is the beginning of kind of a theme throughout this show. But so they attack Orange Cassidy. Best Friends come out to make the save. They couldn't make it happen. Lucha Brothers then come out. And then Moxley and Claudio get chairs. But then Eddie Kingston comes out fresh from the G1, and he just immediately goes and starts beating up Claudio, which I love. That he just can't give up this beef they had in Chikara so long ago in kayfabe, and they just immediately fight. And Kingston grabbed a mic, and again, we had things circling around this, and there's kind of a build, but it's just funny. It's like Eddie Kingston's like a booker now. I love it. He's like, I'm just gonna book myself on the largest wrestling show in history. I'm just gonna say I'm on it and hope for the best. But
shoot your shot, Eddie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like sending like Carmen Electra a DM. I couldn't think of another hot girl name. She might not even be hot anymore. I don't know. But
just be fucking on.
Okay,
yeah.
so
so he says Stadium Stampede match. So that's the idea. We're gonna have Eddie Kingston with the Best Friends and the Lucha Brothers versus
Orange Cassidy.
Blackpool and Orange Cassidy versus I just looked him with the Best Friends with Blackpool Combat Club and a threesome of their choosing that has not been determined yet. Go.
Okay, so I'm gonna go first here. I've a lot of thoughts, and I gotta get them out before I forget about it. So, Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta. I'll give that segment a B+. I like watching those two guys wrestle. They have good chemistry. They've been telling the story about Orange Cassidy being really tired and broken down for a long time. It's like kayfabe style. It's probably time for him to lose it.
I thought
because it's starting to get pretty unbelievable. But anyway, he's winning with cradles, so that's cool. The after segment of this, I give an F. Just a big old fucking F. This was so fucking lazy to have Blackpool Combat Club come out, Best Friends, Lucha Brothers, Eddie Kingston. Then Eddie Kingston just gets to say, "Hey, Wembley Stadium. Oh, Wembley Stadium, Liz Lemon. Liz Lemon, we are Wembley Stadium." And
hey, I got a quick question. What's the over-under on how many White Castles Eddie Kingston had in his pocket at that point?
I mean, I bet that dude just takes four sliders at a time, crushes, puts them in a ball, and just eats them like a big ball. That's how I picture Eddie Kingston eating.
You motherfuckers ain't shit.
Listen, and the fact that these guys are going to be involved in a Stadium Stampede match at Wembley, is there something below an F? That is terrible. That is not what I want to see these guys in. I love those types of matches, but there are so many guys in that match that are getting wasted on the Stadium Stampede that could be having singles matches, which is actually what I want to see. At what point is Jon Moxley's predilection for death matches and bleeding all the time actually bringing down Claudio Castagnoli?
Whoa.
I don't know. I didn't. I kind of see that, but I feel like you have the biggest show in history. You have a UK fan base that's going to want to see as many stars as they can. So you're going to have more multi-man matches. And if you're going to have a multi-man match, like it with those guys, having it be Stadium Stampede, I was like hyped for it. And I think whenever we see it, it's going to be awesome. So
there is no doubt.
I get what you're saying, though.
There's no doubt the entire pay-per-view is going to be awesome. Forbidden Door coming into it, you look at some of those multi-man matches, you're like, okay, but then some of they have like that 5-on-5 where Ishii like comes out of nowhere, not really comes out of nowhere, but he's like the standout from the match. You're like, oh, that was fucking great. Takeshita, that was fucking great. So I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Sorry, Jason, go ahead.
No, you're fine. To me, when the Lucha Brothers came out, I was like, wait a minute, hang on. Why are they coming out? Who are they getting ready to beat up? Because they were just trying to kill the best friends like in the last 2 weeks. That's where it just started to not really make sense for me. When they came out, they could have attacked Blackpool Combat Club or the best friends. When they attacked BCC, obviously they made their choice, but it doesn't make sense. From that point, I guess we'll just have to figure out, who's on the heel side of the fence before I really start getting excited about this.
And just like Zach said, like Eddie Kingston just gets to come in and say Wembley Stadium.
Hey, man, he just came back from the G1, dog.
Listen, I thought that Eddie Kingston had a great G1. I liked him on commentary. I like Eddie Kingston, the performer. I tease him a little bit sometimes. I tease him. But I'm not even putting this on Eddie Kingston. I'm putting this on the company. I'm putting this on the promotion. Like you got to give him something more than that. That's all I got.
Do you think him saying Wembley Stadium is like them pointing at the WrestleMania sign?
Dude.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yes, but that also sucks when people do that. Remember when Triple H and Undertaker just looked at it? God.
I think it was better than pointing at the shit. I was like, damn, okay, I get you. Okay, let's do this shit.
I know. But it's like, really, that there's no story? You guys just come out and look at the sign?
Hey, they didn't need no story. You just look up at that sign.
You know what? They're into creating moments, and obviously I remember it.
Boom.
God damn it. Vince wins again.
Got your ass.
All right, so we have JR interviewing Kenny Omega in Daly's place. And Omega's talking about Don Callis giving him drugs. And he's talking about him facing Takeshita and DDT. And then it's completely interrupted by, again, we just had a segment where heels were attacking. And now we had Juice Robinson and Jay White, the Bullet Club Gold, jumped Omega and Takeshita, and they beat the shit out of him, sending him to the hospital, apparently. Because we know that because Adam Page is cutting a promo that was decidedly not at the Collision Arena. It was somewhere else, in front of an ambulance where he's drinking a beer. And he announces that he, Kota Ibushi, and Kenny Omega will be taking on Bullet Club Gold and Takeshita in a 6-man tag. And then he gets yelled at for drinking the beer outside of the hospital. But this was kind of built up as far as like the Omega Takeshita thing. But again, it was heels attacking, matches announced. And again, I'm not complaining about the matches. That match is going to fucking rule.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, sure. Of course. What you think about it, Jason?
I guess I was thinking this would be more of a longer term storyline when Jay White kind of made mention of the effect of the Elite. I guess that was on Collision over the weekend. And I was thinking, okay, Jay White, Kenny Omega, that would, be a good little feud or whatever the case may be. But this works too, ultimately. I mean, it ties all the characters together. It makes Jay White's promo make sense. Obviously, Takeshita Omega was my thought going in as a singles match. But you bring Jay White and Juice in, obviously Kota and Hangman on the other side. It's going to be a good little 6-man, no doubt about that.
Are they going to be the hung golden lovers?
Nice.
This segment.
Well played.
This segment was very ineffective for this viewer. Again, this seems like a lazy way to get to a big multi-man match. Again, they're using people in this multi-man match. I'd much rather see Omega Takeshita.
I think we get it. It's just not.
I mean, I know that they have a pay-per-view the next week, so maybe that's where these ones will be happening. So, I just didn't think. I think that Omega's not very believable in the sit-down environment. I think that the beatdown was weird. I thought that the cutaways to JR just kind of shaking his head, where it's like, man, that's a guy that's seen a lot of beatdowns.
Right.
You know, he's just like, God, these boys are at it again.
Let me go ahead and get out the way.
I thought it was all pretty weird. I thought Hangman Page's promo from the hospital basically was super weird. It made me think of Pinocchio, because Hangman Page cuts a promo like a wooden doll who was magically turned into a real boy at some point. It's like that guy's his promo style. Oh God, that promo was terrible. Oh my God. And then the guy comes and says you can't drink beer at the hospital, and he chugs it. Whoa. Dude just fucking chugged 6 ounces of Old Style. How cool is this motherfucker? Come on, man. That was so weak. That was so bad. Man, Hangman Page is great in the ring. He is bad on the mic, man. Just bad.
I don't think he really kind of gave much of a shit about this. Like, he was really good as world champion. He had some really good promos. I don't think he's bad on the mic.
You know what? For good content, I'm just going to say he is terrible.
I'm just going to stick to it. You ain't shit.
All right, what's next?
Jericho gives his answer to Don Callis, and the answer is a yes, which is not what Callis was expecting, because apparently he had not only, like, I love this because I love Don Callis, but I also love how stupid he is in kayfabe, because he is the biggest asshole heel, and big asshole heels are supposed to be very stupid, and the babyface is supposed to be smart. And so not only did he have this painting commissioned, which was him with an amazing body holding Jericho's severed head, which is very over the top, but he brought it into the ring, like, fully expecting that Jericho was going to say no. Like, he thought that he knew everything. Like, he is just so confident, and he failed. And anyway, so Jericho's like, what's this? And shows it, and
nothing to see here, people. Must move along.
Dude, and Callis trying to explain it, like, when he's just like, no, it's a rib. Like, and his delivery is so perfect.
All I can think is, what was the painting supposed to be for if Jericho had said no?
I know.
Like, was he just going to unveil a painting
Okay,
of
this is
him
your
holding
future,
a severed
Jericho.
head? Like, what was the actual plan? Like, have the guys come and beat him up and then show him the painting? Anyway, fucking somebody buy me that painting. They should sell those things in the merch at AEW shows.
That needs to be a shirt
I would
immediately.
completely buy a painting or buy a poster that was Don Callis holding Chris Jericho's severed head. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
I would put it prominently in my home.
No, it was.
Right
What
above the bed.
What do you think about this segment, Jason?
God damn, you ain't shit. I thought Jericho was going to say no, honestly. Just because it felt like it was too obvious for him to say yes. For all the reasons for him to say yes, I expected him to say no. So when he said yes, I was like, what? Like, oh shit. So then of course we get to the point where Jericho's like, you know, what's this underneath the sheet or whatever, you know, he's trying to rush him out, blah, blah, blah. The beatdown happens. I don't have a problem with that. Sammy's maybe from last week now makes sense because he comes in and makes the save. If anything, now Chris Jericho is a babyface. He's not a heel any longer. For at least for this person over here. I know you guys were calling him a babyface a while ago. I still didn't think he was a babyface. This is now a babyface turn as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. This is also a strange thing that doesn't make sense in this segment. Like, if you're trying to make Chris Jericho a babyface, why would you have him say yes to joining the most evil guy in the company until he shows you a poster of him holding your severed head?
Hey, man, we
Like,
got to
why?
draw a line somewhere.
Like, that is not a babyface move to be like, hell yeah, I'm joining this dude. And then like, wait a minute, me too. Wait, you were getting ready to be mad at me if I said no. So anyway, I enjoyed the segment though, because I thought that poster was the absolute tits, and I think that Don Callis is hilarious.
No,
Absolutely.
Everybody's got a type.
And then
Yeah.
Will Ospreay, comes in, and that there's, lends credence to the rumors. So a beatdown. So this is the third segment, and it's the third segment that ends in a beatdown. Jericho gigs. He's got blood all over him. So that sets up the match for Wembley. Then we had Darby Allin and Nick Wayne, which bucked the trend. It did not end with a beatdown, but it began with a beatdown instead. So Gabe Sagany attacked Wayne and Allen at the beginning during their entrance. So they didn't have a very long match, and I think there was a.
Hey, can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
I know you guys talked about this last week a little bit, but isn't Ospreay Jericho at Wembley also mega disappointing?
Absolutely.
Now, I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it.
Yeah.
All right. I think
who would you want? Okay, then
I never believed it because I thought they're not going to put Ospreay with Jericho. Like,
that just reeks to me of Jericho politicking. Like, he's done so much for the company, and he asked Tony to do it because he's always got to attach himself to the hot thing.
Or maybe it's Tony Khan saying thanks and being like, "This is the biggest show. We're going to put you against the hottest up and comer there is." Like,
who would you want to have instead? Because obviously you can't do
Ospreay.
Yeah,
Takeshita, Omega, Claudio, Moxley.
No, but obviously
fucking Penta, Phoenix.
No.
Vikingo, Miro, Eddie Kingston, Seth Rollins, Doink the Clown, Bruce the Barber, Beefcake.
Obviously, there was a plan in place. Okay, that's my point. You're acting like you could just do this and just make this shit happen. Certain times you can. I don't think this is one of those times you can. Wembley has probably been planned for a while. Now, why it took so long for these matches to be made, another story for another time.
Husker do, Husker don't, Stevie Ray, Booker T, Occam, Razor, Velveteen Dream.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Test.
We digging up Test? We digging up Test? That's what we doing here?
Canyon.
All I'm saying is this.
Who's better than Canyon?
Nobody. I don't think this is going to be as bad as people think it is. At least you guys think it is.
Well, no, because it's going to be it is absolutely like Ospreay will deliver. We just saw him deliver an amazing match with a concussed.
No
Naito.
doubt it's going to be great. No doubt it's going to be great.
It's just frustrating.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
At least for me.
Okay.
It just, to me, it really does. It screams of like Jericho politicking, and it's like, not saying it's undeserved, but.
That being said, I'm looking forward to that match more than I'm looking forward to any of those multi-man matches. Like, Jericho versus Ospreay sells the show for me in a certain way. Not the whole way, but it's like, oh, that's a match. That's a big match that I would want to see.
Yeah, it's a big singles match.
Yeah,
that's going to help.
I'm coming around to it now.
Complete the card. You just can't have a bunch of multi-man matches like they do in New Japan and expect people to be okay with it. At some point, you're going to have another singles match. FTR Bucks, obviously, that's your tag team match. But you're going to need something to go with Cole and Adam Cole, baby.
Listen, I know that we're doing predictions next week, but you know what? I'll save it for next week. I want to hear predictions on that match from you guys, but next week we'll talk about it. Okay, what was next? Sorry, Darby Allin.
It's fine. They had the match, and it ended with this is my wife walked in on me right here, and she knows I watch wrestling, obviously. And
Say, what you doing?
I'm just like, I'm like, why did you have to walk in? 'Cause,
No wrist control.
Yeah.
I know you like
So-
Darby and everything, but damn.
Basically, you know, Mogul affiliates, they're surrounding the ring, and then we have like on the Titantron or whatever, Sting, and he has kidnapped Prince Nana, and he is basically channeling Jim Carrey from The Mask, and like I said, Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson era Joker, and he is just rambling, and he has kidnapped a human being, and then he lets that kidnapped human being run off until he says, "Nah, nah, 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 hey, 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 come back, I need someone to talk to me." This was like so weird. At the same time, it's hilarious. Also at the same time, Sting was obviously having fun, and he is more charismatic than almost anybody on the show. He's had natural charisma his whole life. That's why he was like, you know, one of the biggest baby faces of all time. But my wife walked in and she was like, "What the fuck was that?" And I was like, "I don't know." I felt like embarrassed, you know, that she saw it. So is this what you were talking about whenever we were?
Nope.
Whenever I mentioned that, this wasn't it.
Nope. There's something coming up. That was worse.
Okay, we already over starting to jostle for position underneath the board. Box him out. Box him out.
Jason, what did you think about
Holding the bench back. Just holding the bench back.
Jason? What you think about Joker Sting?
I honestly, I didn't like Joker Sting in TNA. It never resonated for me. It always felt like over the top, more of the same here. It kind of takes away from the physical match itself, even though it was after the match. I don't know. I get it. Some people obviously will like it. For me, just too over the top. For me, Joker Sting never resonated for me. That's where I've always kind of drew the line with Sting's alternate characters.
It was terrible. Terrible. Joker Sting sucks. This sucked.
So
I like the wrestling of it. I think the Gates of Agony dudes fucking rule.
That's the part that pissed me off.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, I have no desire to see Sting wrestle again after his last two outings, and I have no desire to see Joker Sting.
Okay, if we just keep him from doing some stupid shit, he'll be fine.
Last time he couldn't even make it back to the corner at the end of the match. Do you remember that? It was bad.
That was after the time he jumped off the ladder?
when he went through the
It's
table.
all within like the same week. It feels like it all happened at the same time. It's like, oh, what's he doing?
Exacerbated and everything. But yeah, so I will say, apparently, I went online. I went onto Reddit because I was just like, what do other people think of this? Like, am I off base here? I just thought it was so weird. And then I found out on Reddit, apparently in the UK, Joker Sting is over huge because I guess they used to play Impact on free TV or whatever. And I guess Sting has said in the past that when he goes to the UK, that's the Sting that people like love. So I guess it was just doing a solid for the UK fans. Anyway,
now it makes sense.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I hate when he makes that face.
The face
And
that I texted you
then
guys.
Zach texted us too. It's like, oh god.
Okay, that face. I'm just like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
he makes that Joker face that doesn't look like any of the Jokers. It's his own Joker.
It's Joker Sting, motherfucker. I mean, what you expect?
I still like it better than Joaquin Phoenix.
Wow. Damn.
I can't believe people like that movie. No. Oh, I can't believe people
I
like
saw
that.
it twice in the theater.
Oh, dude. Oh, I
Okay, it
hated
wasn't that
that.
good
I
now.
hated that movie. I hated it.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I was somewhere in the gray.
It took place in
sure.
1978, and the major plot point was that he went viral. It was so stupid. Oh God, I
Good
hated
point.
it.
No,
I
good point.
hated it.
I'm sure that you will love the sequel, which is going to be a musical starring Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. So,
Whoa,
That's a
that's
real
a
thing.
thing?
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's a real thing.
I'll check
Yeah.
it out.
Wow.
Hey, I thought the Joker was a swing and a miss, but man, it was a swing. It was a swing. They tried some shit. I just didn't think it was very effective. This has been Bill's Movie Corner. This has been banned from the concession stand. Banned from popcorn.
Banned from the concession stand.
Nice.
That's so good.
We don't have any Mike and Ikes. We have Chewy Spree. We have Mamba.
Nice. I was saying all that good shit, man. I'm ready to go see a movie, get high, bang some shit up. Go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
So this is kind of where the fever dream started, and then we just continued the fever dream with Adam Cole and MJF. This is the longest segment, and there's so much bonker shit in here. I do think it was very funny that in order to scout Aussie Open, they go to Outback Steakhouse. That cracked me up. And then MJF gets the idea that he should adopt a kangaroo kick as an offensive maneuver and one that is actually going to finish these Aussie guys. So they do this whole bit where they get to the phone or they get to the arena and they do this whole thing with like a kiddie pool and inflatable alligators, and they double clothesline a guy into a kiddie pool, and then apparently it's all happened right in front of Tony Khan's office. And this is like the first time Tony Khan's not been on camera, but been like in an angle, like in a skit. And so then it was very meta, because the whole thing about the people say online about Tony is that he should like take a firm stance with like his main eventers and stuff. And so what does he do on television? He screams at his main eventers behind closed doors. And then whenever they come out, MJF's like, oh, I was really going to lay into it. This is going to cost him in 2024. And Tony Khan says, what did you say? And he's like, oh, I said you look great today. And he's like, oh, okay, thanks, guys. And he like turns into Tony Khan that we see everywhere else. Like, so this was very meta, but also at the same time, I'm like, what am I watching? Like, if somebody walked in on me watching that, I enjoyed it, but I'm just like, dude, like, that's the dumbest shit from an outside perspective.
Jason, what do you think of it?
I like the Tony Khan part, honestly. That to me was, I mean, the double clothesline in the kiddie pool was just, just simply over the top comedy. But the Tony Khan part was the part that I actually popped, where I was just like, oh, that's okay. Well played, fellas. Well played. Just adds to the ultimate big picture story of the MJF Adam Cole baby bromance. Obviously they had I won't call it a promo battle, but their perspectives leading up to the Wembley title match. Aussie Open coming out to attack them post-match. I didn't expect it, but to see MJF, try the kangaroo kick and, Kyle Fletcher get out of the way, the double clothesline is not used, but teased there as well. It's a lot of good stuff with this Adam Cole MJF pairing. The story has been way better than I anticipated. I want to see how ultimately it's going to be who turns on who, because you saw Adam Cole, baby, kind of setting up, looking for a super kick, at least teasing that. MJF felt like, at least to me, it felt like he knew it was coming, but never really said anything. So that to me is the underlying story, where you have all this bromance that we see in front of us, but underneath, it's two heels that have done heel shit. So it's just who's going to stab the other in the back first.
I'll say this. I'm not going to say much about the skit. It was what it was. I think that they're not as funny as they think they are, but a lot of people seem to be enjoying it. Maybe I'm just Debbie Downer this week. I don't know. I tell you what, I loved MJF's in-ring promo. I fucking loved it. I thought, because he brought it back at the end and said, no matter how important you are to me, you're not the most important thing in the world. This is the most important thing in the world. It's like, finally. It's like, okay, they talked about the belt finally. Like, MJF talked about how important the belt was. And not to sound too fucking our internet wrestling community, not to sound too IWC, that's what's been missing from this whole thing. It's been forgotten. They've forgotten about the belt. So I
would
would
go that
the
far.
in-ring promo was fantastic. Cole's was good, but MJS was way better. Because
he told him
talked
too.
about going.
He told him, he's like, that was a great story. This one's better, or whatever he said right before. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
And then he kind of blew him out of the water.
Yeah, he stole his gimmick. He said he was ready for story time with MJF, baby. And yeah, what's funny is he talked about going from being a nobody at All In, and he caught the attention of Tony Khan. He was a nobody at All In. Like, I mean, people knew about him, but I mean, he sat with us, and I had no idea like who he was. I wasn't watching MLW at the time. Like,
no, there were guys that we were talking to that when he sat down at our table, because he was waiting for Kazarian to come pick Kazarian and Scorpio Sky to come get him, and he looked at me because I was eating a chicken wing, and he was like, "Don't get it on my scarf," and I was like, "Whatever, dude." But like, there were these guys that we were talking to. They're like, "Hey, get an interview with him." I was like, "I don't know who the fuck he is." So yeah, I don't even know if he would have given us an interview. He probably would have at that time. It probably would have been in kayfabe, and I bet it would have fucking ruled.
Yeah.
Oh, he would have been in kayfabe. Yeah,
that is
unprofessional. He would have just
bullshit.
roasted us.
Yes.
Like,
oh yeah, he had a field day with our asses for sure. No, I remember seeing it. I'm like, is that MJF? And that's what the funny part about it is, because when he was talking about that part in the promo, immediately I thought about us as StarCast or whatever, and I always think about it. To me, that's one of the highlights of the whole fucking weekend is that little, few minute interactions with MJF. And I was looking at him like, that. I'm not gonna go there. Jesus Christ is right. MJF, I didn't think he was nobody, but within that world of All In and that world of StarCast, you really had to know who MJF was. You really had to watch indie wrestling. And in my case, I saw him on MLW with Richard Holiday and Alex Hammerstone. They were the Dynasty at that point, and I was like, I liked that little trio or whatever. So I was like, okay, I at least knew who he was. But to see, like he said, from that point there to where he is now, I wouldn't have called that in a million years.
Yeah. But then, again, to end the segment, we had another beatdown. So we're up to 5, I think, now so far.
1, 2, 3, the beatdown with it before the match. 4. I'm counting this as 4. Aussie Open is the 4th.
All right. So yeah, we had. Sorry, my notes here, but it's actually handy because I can go back and look through. So beatdown after the Yuta match, that's 1. Beatdown after the Omega promo, that's 2. Beatdown after Jericho, that's 3. Beatdown before Gates of Agony, that's 4, and then beatdown after this is 5. All right, so we're at 5. Let's keep going. And then Renee interviewed Jericho. It's gonna be Jericho versus Ospreay at All In, like we said. Then we had what I'm sure you guys were talking about as far as the most embarrassing thing. My wife did not see this, but we had Jeff Jarrett defeated Jeff Hardy, two young lions, in a Texas chainsaw death match
in Tennessee.
In Tennessee, yes, Tennessee, Texas chainsaw death match. But this thing was an absolute mess, literally and figuratively. I don't want to jump the gun. I won't shit on it too much. I'll leave plenty of meat on the bone for you guys. But I'll just describe it as a mess. It was a poorly lit mess. And the only good thing I can say about it is that the movie studio gave them $100,000 to do this match, and it all went to the Maui Relief Fund because it was a fight for the Fallen show. So that's the only good thing that came out of this. But you guys enjoy eating it up.
Actually, the embarrassing thing that I was going to talk about was the Guns getting TV time at all. But this was a close second place. Leatherface, the guy in the Leatherface coming down. Listen, I get that wrestling is supposed to be stupid sometimes. I know that there are hipsters in the internet wrestling community that are saying, actually, this was good. This was not good. This was terrible. this is the type of shit that if somebody walked in on, I would be embarrassed to be watching wrestling. Poorly lit, which I can only imagine is to make up for how slow Jeff Hardy is now.
God damn.
Anyway, this sucked. I don't care how much money. Fucking get that Tony Khan. Just shell out $100,000 to not put this on television. This was insulting to the performers.
Nah, y'all signed up for this bullshit. Jeff Hardy in the match was my first question. This whole thing started with Matt Hardy, and now Jeff Hardy's in this just train wreck of a match. You stole my thunder with the lighting. I'm assuming, and I'm not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy. I've never even seen any of the movies, so talk about me as you want
first
to.
First one's pretty good.
That's what I hear.
This is
movie classic, horror movie classic,
popcorn.
Right? So I guess that's part of the bad lying is part of the whole deal. I didn't even know Sanjay Dutt was there until they literally got into the light. I'm like, who is this guy in the red shirt that just keeps popping out of nowhere? I thought he was Jay Lethal.
Really?
And it's out to be Sanjay Dutt. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
They should have Satnam Singh play Leatherface in the movies, though.
No.
He's so big.
That motherfucker came out with the
scary he
overalls.
Very big.
That dude came out with the
Yeah, but
overalls.
the thing is,
done.
he wears a mask. You'd never have to see that
Yeah,
Satnam Singh.
Yeah,
He'd
you
just
would
be
never
fucking massive.
guess that it would be Satnam Singh. Totally.
I'm saying most people don't even
incognito.
know who Satnam Singh is.
Shit, in this scenario, you would. I mean, that motherfucker stood out like a
No,
motherfucker.
I'm talking about in the movies, in the actual movies. Satnam Singh should be Leatherface.
Anyway.
You know the only way to make the internet wrestling community more mad about this match is if you tell them that the guy in the Leatherface mask was Wardlow.
Yeah, I would love to see the reaction to that shit. I thought about it on the way over here, and I'm just going to stick to it. If this was WWE, I would lose my bonker-ass mind about this. It has won the beefer. I'll go that far. For me, this is the worst match of the year. It's not even going to be close.
Good thinking.
It's not even going to be close to what I could. I watch so much shit. So you have an opportunity so many times to jump this bar. Nothing.
Thank you for reminding
The Rock
me.
means nothing can jump this bar. Worst match of the year.
Thank you for reminding me, because I would also, on the short list, I would have that triple threat from SummerSlam last week. I didn't get to shit on it last week. I'm going to shit on it right now. That is also one of the worst matches of the year. All right. What's next?
We had Britt Baker beat the Bunny, which was completely predictable. I don't think anybody expected this to go any differently because it was for the opportunity to be in a four-way at All In. So that was a thing that happened. And now it's Saraya, Toni Storm, Britt Baker, and, of course, Hikaru Shida, the champion, which is a pretty – I mean, as long as it's probably going to be better than that SummerSlam thing, but I think Saraya is going to be over big because UK, and there's a lot of good workers in there, as long as they don't try to get too cute with it. And
okay, there you go. We thought the same thing coming in when we saw the triple threat at SummerSlam, and that shit was a train wreck. So I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, this is going to be something that they can lay this up and it'll be all good. Okay? Let's not assume anything when it comes to this match.
I just don't want any of those really cute spots like they had during the Four Pillars match, where they just the way too choreographed. Oh, we're all laying down and punching the next guy in the face and shit like that. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. And I think really these types of matches go one of two ways. They're either really boring or they can be really good. I have hope for this one.
all right, we had Acclaim versus just a couple dudes, so they got to do their rap and pop the crowd and talk about Daddy Ass some more. And then we had Young Bucks in main event beating.
Wait, hang on, man. House of Black beating them down. You missed a beatdown.
Oh, I missed a beatdown. Oh my God, yes. So that's yeah. Now we have a beatdown.
Absolute
So-
fucking bullshit.
I know.
Unprofessional bullshit.
Beatdown number 6, and so do you guys think that this is going to lead to the redemption of Daddy Ass, and do you think that they're going to take those belts from the House of Black at Wembley?
Yeah.
Don't do this. Don't.
I think
No.
so.
As much as I'm over here screaming no, that's probably what they're going to do. LFI just screams to me, this is the team that should defeat the House of Black. I get the storyline. I get it. But I'm going to quote you two jokers. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Call the audible. Acclaim should be chasing after the winner of the FTR Bucks match, not chasing the trios titles. That's just me.
Yeah, I probably agree with you. Haven't thought that much about it. I will say this. This is Max Caster's worst rep. This was really, really bad. This was absolutely terrible. It wasn't even like he was trying to land anything. It was really bad.
Okay.
I don't even remember it, so that probably means
Called
you're
him
right.
like a couple penises.
Yeah, he said they look like hairy penises because they were bald. It was really weak. He said we're gonna wrap this shit up like President Trump. It's like, what are you talking about? So anyway.
Young Bucks defeated the Gun Club and ended. It was funny. They cheated to do it, which was kind of funny. The Guns tried to cheat on them, and they're like, "Fuck you! Like we've been doing this a long time. We'll cheat to beat you."
Right.
And I thought that was kind of funny. But then we had another beatdown. So of course, Juice Robinson, Jay White jumped the Bucks, and then FTR makes the save, and so we are positioning this as a babyface, which is smart because both these teams are universally loved.
What you think, Jason?
To me, it was about the Guns. I think they're better than a lot of people, including yourself, think. I think ultimately Bucks Guns is going to be a feud that we see somewhere in 2023. I don't think that you have the Guns and the Bucks have this match without doing something else down the line. Ultimately, it's about FTR Bucks and Wembley, the build for that. And like Three Beer said, you got the Bucks and the FTR both positioned as baby faces, which is fine. Something might change in the middle of the match to change it up, but ultimately, I don't think it's going to matter. Wembley's just going to be molten hot for this match. It should be arguably one of the best matches on the card. Could be one of the best tag team matches of the year. So yeah, I got high expectations for this shit.
Yeah, I got high expectations for it too. I'm cool with the way they're positioning it, and I was cool with FTR coming out and making the save on the Young Bucks, just because FTR's their characters are they would want the Young Bucks at 100%, and so
No excuses.
Yep. So I was cool with that. Yeah, this match is gonna fucking rule. This match is gonna light shit up.
Okay, so how we feeling about Wembley now? Me and Zach were talking about, there wasn't a lot of cards or matches on the card. Now we got some matches. Some matches we're looking forward to, others we're not. How do you overall feel about the card?
I'd say when we were coming into Forbidden Door, there were 2 matches that were like, holy shit, those are legit dream matches in this type of scenario, in Okada versus Danielson and Ospreay versus Omega. This, so far, doesn't have a match that I am more excited for than either of those. I'll say that. MJF versus Cole is intriguing to me, but I mean, I think for a show of this stature, it is strange to me that that's the main event.
It's your world heavyweight champion.
I know. I figured they would put him against somebody bigger than Adam Cole if they were going to headline Wembley, like a CM Punk, like a Moxley, something like that, like an Omega.
Book it then. What would you want?
I mean, I would have rather they started way earlier and start the story way earlier and have it be Omega versus MJF. That sounds badass to me.
Okay, so if we're going on that alternate storyline, there's no Omega Ospreay.
Yeah, listen, man, I'm not here to try to write the screenplay or anything. I'm just saying there are matches that are bigger than MJF Adam Cole that I would rather see, or that would make more sense as the headliner in a show as big as Wembley Stadium.
So let's play devil's advocate. If you could have one of the two matches, would you want Omega MJF for Wembley, or I'll let you pick the one that you like better between Omega and Ospreay, because essentially that's your ultimate.
No, if Omega Ospreay would be the dream match for this particular pay-per-view, for this particular event as the main event. That's what it should have been. In my mind, that's the biggest match that AEW can put on. And I would rather it be that.
But okay.
Well, book it then.
Am I crazy? I think I just did book it.
What do you do next, though?
I don't care. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm talking about the pay-per-view that's next fucking week, and I'm saying that I'd rather have a different main event. Zach, what do you think?
I think the main event's good. I think you just have a thing against short guys.
I'll tell you what.
He ain't lying.
This motherfucker.
He ain't lying.
Cross my mind.
I would say you've been on Adam Cole for about the last 2-3 years.
Oh, come on. I love Adam Cole.
We represent.
I was getting ready to say. I was waiting for
represent the lollipop.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, can I say something about Roger
That's good
Strong?
shit.
For
That's
30
one of my
seconds?
best bits.
Yeah, you ain't shit for that motherfucker either. Roddy Strong is over here just never going to get healthy, because every time you look up, he hurting something, getting mad about Adam Cole running off with MJF. This week he kicks the fucking tire and shit. You know, now he's got ice on his fucking foot. I'm like, dude, you need to settle the fuck down. Otherwise, you're never coming back healthy. Roddy Strong is another underlying story, funny as it may be, but underlying story. Once Adam Cole and MJF get through all of this, wherever it leads, ultimately, I think you're going to get something with the Kingdom and Adam Cole, Roddy Strong, that those four guys in a totally different spinoff feud.
Okay, let me just ask Zach this. Zach, do you think that this is the biggest main event that there could be at Wembley Stadium, or do you think that would you have rather they gone in a different direction?
I think as far as like marquee match, it's probably not the biggest marquee main event because you could have had Omega Ospreay, and that would have main evented even ahead of the heavyweight belt. But I do think it's their hottest program, and it's the hottest thing in the company. It's hotter than anything CM Punk's doing. So they're putting their best foot forward of things that they have.
Yep. All right. That's going to do it for our 2 count. Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, the 3 count is WWE proper. So I was home alone on Friday night watching wrestling. The wife was out with her friends for her birthday, so I watched SmackDown Live, which was very fun, especially because I had just put the baby to bed at 8:20. I had just gotten high at 8:30, and that's right when the Bloodline segment started. So it was like that real good high, you know, like right after you get high, where you're like, oh, fuck, what planet am I on? Is this, like, have the walls in this room always been this color? Like, what the fuck is going on, you know? And, like, so I'm watching that Bloodline segment, and, man, it got me. This was a good segment. I thought that Jimmy's explanation was so-so. About,
you're giving them a little too much credit for that.
Probably. You're
You're
probably
giving
right.
them a little too much credit.
But I thought that Jay coming back, super kicking everybody, and then looking in the camera and saying, I'm out of WWE, Deuces, Uces. He's basically saying he quits. This is a new wrinkle in the story that's a good wrinkle, because now I want to see what happens when Jay's gone. Keep Jay gone for a while. Just pay him and let him go away for a month or so, you know? What do you think about this, Zach?
I was reserving judgment on the finish of SummerSlam until I saw this, and I will admit that the segment was good, and I popped for the segment. I thought, just like a lot of the Bloodline stuff, it was delivered very well, and it was intriguing, and it was very fun television, very good, exciting pro wrestling television. But I will officially stand by my statement that it did jump the shark at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I was going to say, were you reserving judgment? Because I heard you on the podcast they jumped the shark. You texted me they jumped the shark. You put on Facebook they jumped the shark. That didn't sound like your judgment was reserved. It sounded like you had made your judgment.
I had said I was going to reserve
He just went dad mode on your ass.
It seemed like, yeah, he just brought all the receipts.
Fucking shaking his fist at the clouds and everything.
This was the worst shit I've ever seen. I'm reserving judgment, though.
Ooh, damn.
I'm just having fun.
It's the best head ever, but I'll tell you tomorrow.
But I'm basically completely in agreement. Like, it really doesn't, the kayfabe shit that really doesn't make any sense. But you're cool with Jay quitting, right?
I think it's awesome. I was not expecting that at all. Just to super kick his brother, super kick the tribal chief, and then say deuces to the hottest angle in like WWE like history.
I mean, it's
that's
pretty
awesome.
effective. So, not fancy booking, but predictions. Like, when does Jay come back?
For me, you said don't fancy book it. Survivor Series is probably feels about right. It's August now. That'll be a couple of months. You can allow Jimmy, whatever this storyline is going to be with him, flesh that out going forward. That's my biggest thing. Just the explanation. What is this? Like, it's the Lord of the Rings shit? I mean, come on. What the fuck? Come on. Stop.
Really,
that's
really
what
good.
it was. That's exactly what it was. When he said that shit, I'm like, what? That's it? That's the excuse?
Well,
Dude, that's horseshit.
I mean, that's what Zach was saying that I agree with, is that just to have Jay come out there, or just to have Jimmy come out there at the end of SummerSlam, sorry I didn't get to talk about last week, but just to have him come out and it just felt like, oh, well, this was the obvious next thing, but this is also like what the Onion would write the next thing as. You know, it's like, actually, Jimmy comes back and he super kicks Jay. Now, but Jimmy was just on Jay's side, and it really doesn't make any sense, because this is what happens. This is what the belt does to you, or this is what the tribal chiefdom does to you. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. That was the whole point, is that Jimmy was the whole guy that got this whole fucking thing started. When he got Jay was, in conflict, what are you doing? Jimmy's like, well, fuck it. I'll do this shit. Boom. That's what big brothers do, or whatever the fuck he said. And that's how this whole thing starts. So then you go from that point to then now on SmackDown, it's like, I did it because I was scared, because I don't want you to turn out like Roman Reigns. Get the fuck out of here. It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to sit here and say it jumped the shark, but this portion does not make sense at all. And now it's ultra important to whatever Jimmy does, they have to make sure it's being done well, because they don't, then people are going to circle this moment where the bloodlines storyline started to go south.
Zach, how long do you think Jay is gone?
I'd say, when is Backlash? Is that like,
we already had
we
it.
just had SummerSlam last week. Payback.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
How did you not know Payback?
Puerto Rico, baby.
Payback Lash at the Champions.
I'd say after that. I think they sell it for a little while. But not too long, because it's the hottest angle. So
yeah, is his next match against Jimmy straight up?
No.
You think they're saving that?
I think they
got to strike while the iron's hot.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
They can't wait till WrestleMania.
I think they're going to try to wait till WrestleMania.
No way.
And I think if they're going to do this, then I say Jim or Jay doesn't come back until the Rumble.
That's a bad idea, because ACLs tear.
I'm just saying.
You got to do it. Okay, so Rey Mysterio. So it looks like this is where they were trying to get, but Rey Mysterio has to take over for Santos Escobar because of the beatdown that happened beforehand by Austin Theory. Rey Mysterio is your new U.S. champion. What do you think, Jason?
I didn't see it coming. It's not a knock on Rey. I mean, God bless him. One of the greatest luchadors ever. But it kind of throws a little bit of a monkey wrench in the LA Knight story. LA Knight can wrestle Rey. I don't think it would be, that big of a deal. Obviously, their paths have crossed. More so when LA Knight was on his heel character mode. My immediate thought was, is this going to make Santos Escobar flip heel? He had this chance. He got it, taken away from him because of injury. And now here comes Rey. No disrespect to Rey, but Rey comes in and wins the U.S. title. My knee-jerk reaction is, watch Santos Escobar. He could flip heel. And then just on the LA Knight side, is LA Knight going to have to face Rey Mysterio? It's not like it's going to be, don't put them next to each other, but it's something to at least consider as Rey being the current champion. LA Knight is at least being positioned with Miz at this point, so Miz can help LA Knight get over, probably more so as a babyface. So it'll just be interesting to see once we get to that point where LA Knight is challenging for the U.S. title. We're getting there. It's just who's the champion at that point. If it's Rey, then it's going to be real interesting to see how it plays itself out. If Austin Theory, for some odd weird reason, gets the title back, which now I don't see it happening. That's the other thing. Austin Theory loses the title to Rey in a storyline that we weren't even thinking about. We were just assuming that was going to be LA Knight, and now it's not. So it's a lot of things that we're going to have to play the wait and see game. It was just a surprise that Rey won the title. I just assumed that Austin Theory was going to retain.
Zach?
I was surprised, and it seemed like they were building towards something else. But, it's better than Theory having it. So,
damn, dude.
He was doing nothing with it. It wasn't elevating it, and he wasn't elevating it. The title wasn't elevating him.
Tell him when he's lying. He's telling the truth.
Okay, but I'll say this. In
Austin, don't even put Theory on TV barely anymore.
In Austin Theory's defense, I think that's part of my biggest problem with WWE throughout the years. It's very top heavy. You have the top stars, but then now for Austin Theory, you don't have competition for him. That's not on Austin Theory. That's on WWE.
They've been a lot better lately.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying for this particular person, as your champion, someone that has gotten his fair share of build and pushes, you got now to the point where now he's reached the ceiling of the mid-card. So now you take the title off him. That's fair. But now he's on the Roman Reigns side.
Yeah.
So he ain't beating Roman Reigns. This is why, at least for WWE's portion of the program, I want them to have 2 title belts. Because now Austin Theory has at least a chance to be a world champion. It might not be on the show that he's on right now, but somewhere down the line, he could be a world champion if you play the cards right. It's not the end of the world for Austin Theory. Yeah.
He's a pretty fucking far away from challenging for the world heavyweight
and we were saying the same thing about Seth Rollins a few years ago when he was in that Hell in a Cell match with Bray Wyatt. So let's not jump the gun just yet.
Seth Rollins had already been champion at that point. Austin Theory's just...
Let's not jump the gun just yet.
He's Ezekiel Jackson. I mean...
Whoa!
They put the belt on him for a while, I could see him being gone from the company at this point.
No way.
Who do you put that on, Austin Theory or the WWE?
To me, it's on WWE.
Yeah, it's got to be on WWE.
You think the fans just to take to him, or do you think that's how they presented him?
I think they did so many starts and stops with him that people stopped caring.
You would think that the John Cena win would, at least in their mind, probably catapult him.
But they completely cooled him off.
And that didn't work either. So to me, it's on them. I mean, it's not like Austin Theory can't talk. He can. It's not like he can't wrestle. He can. So, I mean, the talent is there. It's now you're not who he's in the ring with or his feuds outside of the ring just aren't working.
Edge is facing Sheamus tomorrow night in like an exhibition match. What's this about, Zach?
So it is Edge's last match on his contract, according to Edge himself. So he's talked about wanting to retire in Toronto. So SmackDown's going to be in Toronto. It's his hometown. If he's actually going to do it, then, it seems like an interesting matchup. Like decent story background, even though it wasn't like built up, but they did explain it pretty well. But yeah, that's the rumor, because Adam Copeland has straight up said, "This is my last contract."
Says a lot about Edge's respect for Sheamus.
Absolutely. Now we can do the little fantasy thing. It's like, because remember Edge worked this when he said, I'm never going to be able to wrestle again, right before he came in for the Royal Rumble. So like, he definitely could wrestle. So is he working us and he's going to still wrestle in WWE? Or is he showing up at All In?
Yeah.
So
Adam Copeland is All In.
Yep.
Wow.
There's no way he does that, is there?
No, I think he's a
He sees what
WWE
Chris
guy.
is doing. He's like, I want in on that.
Yeah, right. So I say, what you doing, man? I can do that shit. I think he's a WWE guy. I would be.
He's like, you don't even take bumps. You just stand there in a turtleneck.
You go, how you the champion, motherfucker?
You just grabbed a belt and said it was yours. Oh my God, I got to get over this.
I would love to bring my daughter.
Give me $5 million.
Right. I'd love to yell my daughters on national TV. I think I think he stays. I think he's loyal, maybe loyal to a fault. He could go over to AEW and you do some Edge and Christian shit. Throw the Hardys in there if you want to, something like that.
Or was Edge Leatherface? God, can you imagine if he went out, like Leatherface goes out there and spears Jeff Jarrett, takes off his mask, and it's Edge?
Okay, now you might have piqued my interest.
He comes to AEW to fight Jeff Jarrett.
And Jeff Jarrett got a fucking title. That's the last thing. He got a title for that. Now, okay,
Old Double J would put him over too.
I know you guys talk about how many titles in AEW
He wouldn't mind looking at the lights.
Nah, man, shit.
He'd be all right.
When they put that title on Jeff Jarrett's waist or the shoulder, I was like, that's it. I'm fucking done.
That's why Jungle Boy is going to retire the FTW, because he's going to chase that Texas Chainsaw title.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ almighty. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let's see here. What else we got? So on Raw, there was a bunch more Judgment Day stuff. Judgment Day was all over this Raw. JD McDonough. So it ends with JD McDonough coming out and helping out Judgment Day, but he doesn't stand in the ring afterwards and raise his arms with them. What you think about Cody versus Finn Balor, and what you think about the Judgment Day developments on Raw, Jason?
The physical match I thought was good. It kind of. I don't necessarily mind Cody using the briefcase. I know some people are like, Cody should use the briefcase. It is what it is. I don't hold that against him. He's still a baby face regardless. He just beat Finn to the punch. The briefcase getting pushed in, that was one of those what kind of moments, because you've done this all the time and now the briefcase goes between Finn's legs. Doesn't make Finn look exactly great, but I do like the fact that he and Priest kind of look at each other and there's the obvious miscommunication. The JD McDonough portion of it, I don't have a problem with that, because they basically told him in the first segment, you ain't a part of Judgment Day. You basically, the errand or the message boy between us and Finn. So just, keep your ass that way. He bought him some time, saving Damian Priest at the end, and they had their look. But once again, when the beatdown was really starting to take into effect, JD McDonough was like, yeah, y'all got this, right? Fair enough. I'm going to melt into the background. So, I mean, it's all a play on Is JD McDonough a part of Judgment Day or not? Is the relationship with him and Damian Priest enough to where Damian Priest, accepts him and trusts him? It's a layered story, and that's all you can ask for, especially when the Bloodline story feels like it's winding down. The Hurt Business 2.0 is kind of in the background. I love the fact that it's not even a thing. It's just they're just giving you crumbs. And then all of a sudden, when the Bloodline finally implodes, the Hurt Business should rise to the top on SmackDown. That's another story for another time. I didn't mind the Judgment Day being on this show because a lot of the things that they did ultimately make sense at the end of the night. Zach.
Yeah, I'm into it. I agree. They should be on it. It's a 3-hour show. They're one of the best parts of it.
So Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. I was like, is this the blow-off? And I really thought that this was going to be the blow-off. And it was not the blow-off. They're going to have a cage match next week.
Why?
It is because this is, because this is just good storytelling and exciting television and just professional. It's wrestling,
No, it's some wrestling, all right. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's this should have been it. It really should have been. Okay? For me personally, didn't like it when it started. It's drug on for a little bit. Zoe Starks is a casualty of this motherfucker as far as I'm concerned. And now we're going to have a cage match. When Trish tried to do that, a handstand to where you do the, I guess it's a Rana off the top, and she missed it. That's why I was like, okay, you know what? Just stop it. Everybody that was saying, Becky and Trish should have been on SummerSlam, no, you really shouldn't have. Because right then, you'd have fucked that up. SummerSlam would have lost their goddamn minds, and you'd have been out there for a few minutes longer looking silly. Let's just pump the brakes on
Zach.
that. It's over for this Trish and Becky thing. I don't need to see them in the cage. You really don't.
Zach, how many stars would you give this match?
I didn't watch it, so.
Lucky you. God, I'm jealous.
We still had the G1. There's so much wrestling there.
Yeah. I was into the Nakamura Seth Rollins segment. Did you like that, Zach?
Oh, I didn't watch any of this.
Oh,
God, you are so lucky.
I just read the recap.
No, I shouldn't say that. It wasn't that bad.
I couldn't. I was on a work trip. I was on the coast, the central coast of Oregon this week for work, and it was decidedly lovely. And I haven't watched wrestling.
Good for you, Jason. What did you think about the Nakamura Seth Rollins segment?
Pinkies up and all that, good man. Yes.
Let me clean my monocle.
Can we cleanse the palates with this before we try the
I've got a whole pocket full of monocles. Okay.
I wish Nakamura was built up because then it would feel like Nakamura is the threat. That's how I came away from this. I don't have a problem with him speaking Japanese beforehand. He's a heel. He ain't supposed to be, catering to the fans. He should say what he wants and speak what he wants. The whisper part of it, you want to know what he whispered into Seth's ear, but ultimately it's the setup for their payback match. Like I said, I wish Nakamura was just built up more. And this is going back to the Vince regime where all I could think about is him and AJ kicking each other in the balls. And that was the highlight of their feud. I mean, he should have been a world champion at this point. That would make this match feel like it would be a little more bigger than what it just feels like they're rolling the ball out and going to make this match and just let it happen. I like the segment, just the feud itself. You know how it's going to end. I'm just ready for it to just be done and move along.
Pocket Full of Monocles sounds like the name of a Mumford & Sons song.
My cousin actually released a comedy dance party album with that title. Just check it out. It's pretty good.
Really?
That's pretty funny.
That's a great name.
It really is. Yeah.
That's a fucking great name.
You are bullshitting.
That kills me.
You bullshit. There's no way.
Nobody believes you. I believe you.
No, your wife, Erin, used to work with him at the Dubliner. Her name's Nick.
There you have
I guess
it.
you probably don't believe me about the album, not the fact that I have a cousin. So anyway, that's on Google.
I'm assuming I'm sure you have a cousin or two.
Gunther and Chad Gable. So we got Alpha Academy and Imperium in a little program. Feels kind of, it doesn't feel like major Imperium, but it feels like minor Imperium, and it's a little bit of fun. I really do like that Ludwig Kaiser is way into Maxine Dupree. That's my favorite part about it.
Shoot your shot, Ludwig. Shoot your shot, player. I ain't mad at you.
Just a fucking horny German.
God bless him. He would fit right in under this podcast. I like the fact that
I think he's Austrian. It was very racist.
Wow.
He's either.
No, I'm just messing with you.
God,
You said he's either?
I mean, they were basically the same country for a long time. They were Prussia forever.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm cousins with him.
Chad Gable doing the chaos theory on Gunther, to me, was the takeaway from both segments. You at least see the fact that Chad Gable is able to do more against Gunther than Gunther thinks. Obviously, Gunther, I would assume, would retain and then break the record. My question is, earlier in the night, you had Drew McIntyre not necessarily enthusiastic about being Matt Riddle's partner. Is this the Drew heel turn that's been rumored, or are we just kind of being...
Hopefully.
Is this taking the place of Randy Orton and mismatching Drew McIntyre with Matt Riddle?
I think that this is the beginning of a Drew heel turn. What do you think,
I hope
Zach?
so, and I hope it's like 3 weeks and he's a heel.
Yeah.
Like he's heel by payback.
Turn on Riddle, beat Riddle, use Riddle as a stepping stone to be like, hey, now I'm, have him go over Riddle, and then he's kind of major,
I think he's major right now. Just watching him, his facial reactions when Riddle came up.
Yeah, he wants to turn heel.
I think it's probably Seth needs opponents, and ultimately that's an opponent that you can look at and realistically say, okay, McIntyre can beat Drew, or McIntyre can beat Seth. If Seth wins, you can see Damian Priest come in and cash in on whoever the winner is. Either or.
Now we're talking.
So at that point, that's where the wheels started to turn, where I was just like, man, Drew's sitting over there looking at Riddle like, man, I'd have beat your ass right now. I'm trying to get my shit out. You over here interrupting me. And every time McIntyre started to speak, Riddle kept interrupting him. And that's just going to lead up to an ultimate, at least in my mind, a snap moment where Drew's like, you know what, fuck you, dude. I'm sick of your shit. I'm going to beat your ass.
And then I know that Zach didn't watch NXT, but next week we do have Carmelo Hayes versus Wesley in a match for the big belt. I'm excited about that match. Where are you at, Jason?
It felt like Wesley was going to be the heel leading up until Tuesday's episode. And then Tuesday's episode felt like we got that old Carmelo Hayes back, where he was just, nice loafers, I'm signing, autographs backstage. I ain't got time for you, Wesley, just yet. And it's interesting because I want to know. I feel like we're going to get a heel Carmelo Hayes run here in a little bit. I was intrigued with the fact that you might get Wesley doing the heel, but it feels like Carmelo Hayes is going to go back to
and Wesley
heel Carmelo
Wesley
Hayes.
Dijak was a good match too.
It was not better than I thought. I wish that Eddie Thorpe would have just chilled the fuck out. Get his ass after the fucking, after Wesley wins. At that point, go ahead and, beat that ass. I don't have a problem with that. I like the Mustafa Ali vignette. This is a lot of stuff that I wish they would have done with him on the main roster that now he has a chance to do on NXT.
And if you don't watch NXT, can I just say you should go out of your way and watch Baron Corbin promos, because his promos are really fucking good. He really knows his character.
The Braun Breaker outside segment, I was like, hey, why are you jokers?
Give me Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin.
Why are you jokers in the parking lot is my question. You know how this NXT parking lot is. But two, yeah, now I want to see. They made me intrigued at least.
Talking to Von Wagner, telling him he's got a long career of wearing security.
Dude, I was
laughing
like this. I was like, man, hell no.
That is so
I was like, you ain't
good.
shit. You ain't shit.
That is so cold, dude.
Dude, I was like, yeah. And I'm sitting there shaking my head. I was like, yeah, I can see that.
Funny.
He's the kind of size guy that they would look for security.
Anything that I missed on WWE you guys want to talk about?
Piper Niven came back. She
just claims that she holds the belt now.
That's my belt, punk.
It's kind of like, I don't know.
That's some Debo shit.
That's whatever. All right. That's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Nothing really out of the ring this week. No real odds and ends. Anything that I'm missing?
We talked to CM Punk shit.
Yeah, we talked to CM Punk shit. So we got some birthdays this week. Saraya is 31. Lillian Garcia is 57. Velveteen Dream is 28. Byron Saxon's 42. Gunther is 36. Eric from the Viking Raiders is 39. Stevie Ray, the aforementioned. This is the Stevie Ray episode. Stevie Ray is 65. Paul Ellering is 70. The Usos are 38. Pac is 37. Apollo Crews is 36. And my darling little girl, Edna Mae Josephine Vagey, is 2 today. So, hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For Vice,
Check.
for Tender Mahal,
Check.
for Lucha Chris, for
Check.
Murray the Murray Man Murray,
Check.
for Patriot Pat,
Double check.
for Reba the Dog,
Check.
for Edna Mae the Baby,
Check.
for Xander and Millie the Cats,
Check,
for
check.
Aaron, my wife,
Double
for Two Beers, Zach Pullman,
Check.
for Jason Cornelius Bell.
Konnichiwa,
I am
bitches.
Bill Vagey. Everybody, Black Lives Matter. Support your local weed dealers.
Check.
Support your local restaurants.
Check.
And never, ever, my timing's off because I missed last week. Never, ever forget to boo the heels.
Boo, bitch.